Not everyone who smiles at you is on your side. Not every hand you shake deserves your trust. Because in this world, people wear masks. Some for protection, others for manipulation. The Stoics knew this truth well. They didn't judge people by their words, but by their patterns. Not by how they behaved in public, but how they acted when there was nothing to gain. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." And sometimes the wisest thing you can do is not speak, but observe. In this video, we'll uncover 5 ruthless signs that reveal someone's true character, not the mask they wear, but the soul they conceal. And we'll use the lens of modern Stoicism to respond, not with emotion, not with revenge, but with discernment, clarity, and strength. Because once you see through the mask, you can never unsee it. 1. They act different around power. Watch people closely, not just when things are comfortable, but when power enters the room, because that's when their mask slips. That's when you see who's truly anchored in principles and who's only chasing proximity to influence. You'll notice it in the tone of their voice, in how quickly their attention shifts to someone with status, in how they treat those who can do nothing for them in return. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The true character of a man is shown by what he does when no one is watching." But modern Stoicism takes it a step further. Character isn't just about how you act when you're alone. It's about how consistent you are, regardless of who you're with. If a person greets a CEO with admiration, but talks down to a barista, they're not being strategic. They're being morally hollow. Because their behavior isn't guided by principle. It's guided by self-interest, disguised as charm. And here's the uncomfortable truth. If their respect is based on rank, not on virtue, then their loyalty will crumble the moment your status no longer benefits them. Stoicism trains us to see through these illusions. The Stoic doesn't chase appearances. He doesn't confuse charisma for character. He understands that real virtue doesn't perform. It remains steady. Stoic response: don't be flattered by the attention of someone who tailors their morality based on social standing. You don't need their approval. You need your own clarity. Be the quiet observer. Detach from the performance. Let them expose themselves through their own behavior. And when they do, believe what you see. You don't need to confront them. Just don't forget it. Because the person who only respects power will never respect you when it's inconvenient. Walk with integrity and never bow to a system of values that discards the powerless while worshiping the influential. That's not wisdom. That's cowardice. Dressed in expensive clothes. 2. They weaponize vulnerability. There is a kind of betrayal that doesn't come with yelling or slammed doors. It comes with a smile. It comes when someone takes your vulnerability and sharpens it into a weapon. The Stoics understood that our emotions, especially when exposed to the wrong people, can become tools of manipulation. Seneca warned, "A friend is someone to whom we may entrust all our secrets. The betrayal of such trust is worse than an enemy's sword." And yet, how often do we hand over our inner world too quickly, thinking someone's warmth is the same as someone's loyalty? You share a personal struggle, and weeks later, they bring it up in a moment of tension. Or worse, they tell others under the disguise of just being concerned. But here's the truth. That was never friendship. That was data collection. The Stoic doesn't fear intimacy, but he doesn't confuse access with trust. Vulnerability is sacred. It's not meant to be paraded. It's meant to be protected. If anyone ever makes you feel foolish for opening up, that's not just insensitivity. That's a reveal. That's them showing you they lack the depth to handle another person's truth without needing to control it. Modern Stoicism teaches you this. You are responsible for your inner fortress, and who you let inside determines whether it becomes a place of peace or a war zone. Stoic response. Pay close attention to how people handle your pain. Do they hold it gently, or do they treat it like currency, something they can spend when it's convenient? The moment someone uses your vulnerability against you, withdraw. Not in bitterness, but in clarity. No confrontation is needed. No dramatic exits. Just silence. Because for the Stoic, silence isn't avoidance. It's power. You've learned the lesson. You don't need to repeat it. Let them speak louder with their betrayal than they ever did with their promises. And remember, your peace is not up for auction. Guard it like a philosopher. Walk away like a warrior. 3. They disappear when you're down. Adversity doesn't just test your character. It tests the character of those around you, and few lessons are more sobering than this one. The moment you have nothing to offer, many will offer you nothing. When you're thriving, the invitations pour in. You're surrounded by smiles, laughter, and attention. But when things fall apart, when life humbles you, you'll find out who was truly present and who was merely performing presence. Epictetus said, "It is in difficulties that the true nature of a man is revealed." And not just your nature, but the nature of those you once called friend, ally, family. Some will vanish not out of cruelty, but out of discomfort. They don't know how to sit with someone's pain. Others will vanish because your decline means they can no longer benefit from you. And then there's a smaller group, the few who stay, not because they're obligated, but because their loyalty isn't transactional. Modern Stoicism tells us to welcome adversity, not just as a test, but as a filter, a great purification. It peels away the layers of illusion and leaves behind only what's real.
So, when someone disappears during your lowest season, don't chase, don't beg, just recognize they were only ever loyal to your momentum, not to you. Stoic response. Do not become bitter. Do not become closed. Just become discerning. Pain is a gift when it teaches you who cannot walk through storms beside you. And just as the Stoic stands unmoved by external fortune, he also stands unmoved when fair-weather friends retreat. This isn't cynicism. This is awareness. This is emotional economy. You save your energy for those who show up when there's no spotlight, no benefit, no reward. And when you rise again, because you will, let your silence be the only message you send. You don't need to tell people they abandoned you. Their absence was loud enough. And as you continue on the path of strength, surround yourself not with those who clap when you win, but with those who sit beside you when you've lost everything. because those are the ones whose presence is not performance, but principle. 4. They can't celebrate your growth. Success is often celebrated, but not always by those closest to you. Because when you grow, not everyone sees it as progress. Some see it as a threat. We assume that growth brings admiration, but in reality, it often reveals quiet resentment. The people you thought would be cheering for you start to go silent. They flinch at your wins. They downplay your effort. They avoid the topic entirely. Why? Because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Your discipline exposes their excuses. Your rise magnifies their indecision. And so, they retreat. Not physically, but emotionally. They stop clapping. They stop showing up. They might even start to subtly sabotage through jokes, backhanded compliments, or cold indifference. Marcus Aurelius said, "Do not waste time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Your progress is not a provocation. It's a path. And yet, many feel personally attacked by your decision to evolve. But here's the Stoic truth. You do not exist to make others comfortable. You do not need to apologize for your momentum. Growth has a cost. Sometimes it means outgrowing the people who once felt like home, because that home was built on the version of you who stayed small. Stoic response. When someone can't celebrate your growth, don't shrink yourself to win back their comfort. Stand tall in your quiet progress and allow space to reveal what was real and what was seasonal. The Stoic doesn't retaliate. He doesn't argue. He simply observes. Celebrate those who cheer sincerely. Distance yourself from those who see your success as competition, not out of ego, but out of self-respect. Your path is yours alone, and while it may become lonelier as you ascend, it also becomes clearer. Those who are truly meant for your journey will never ask you to dim your light so they can feel better in the shadows. So walk forward. Let the silence around your victories tell you everything you need to know. And keep growing, not for applause, but because you refuse to betray the potential you were born with. 5. They gaslight you with charm. There's a form of manipulation more dangerous than rage. It's the combination of charm and cruelty. One moment they criticize you subtly, like, "You're imagining things. You're too emotional. You always take things the wrong way." And just when you begin to pull away, they flip the script. They smother you with affection, compliments, even gifts. Now you're confused. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe they didn't mean it. Maybe it's my fault. This is gaslighting, not just the denial of your reality, but the deliberate engineering of confusion. Epictetus taught, it's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things. And the gaslighter knows this well. They don't need to control your actions. They just need to make you question your own perception. This is not love. This is not friendship. It's control, packaged in sweetness. It's a mask of care, concealing the hand that holds the leash. Stoicism calls us back to clarity, to seeing reality as it is, not as it's made to appear. And the most powerful act a Stoic can take in the face of manipulation is not confrontation, it's detachment. Stoic response. If your peace feels like it's constantly being negotiated, step back, not to punish them, but to protect the one thing a manipulator fears: your independence. Don't argue, don't plead, don't try to make them understand, because they already do. They just hope you don't. The Stoic doesn't beg for consistency. He observes behavior once, and lets the facts speak louder than any apology, gift, or excuse. If someone needs to confuse you to keep you close, they were never close to begin with. They were performing intimacy to maintain control. So walk away with quiet certainty. You owe no explanation, not to someone who turned your clarity into fog and your trust into a tool. Let them keep the charm. You'll keep your peace. And in that exchange, you win. People will show you who they are if you stop telling yourself who you want them to be. Modern Stoicism isn't about judgment. It's about clarity. It's not about cutting people off out of anger. It's about protecting your energy out of wisdom. As Seneca said, associate with those who make you better. Welcome those you can improve. The process is mutual. So remember, watch their patterns, not their words. Stay calm in the face of deception. Let the masks fall and remain unmoved. When you operate from virtue rather than emotion, no mask can fool you. No betrayal can break you. You've seen the truth, and once seen, it can't be unseen. If this helped you see things clearer, tap like. Share it with someone who's starting to question what's real. And remember, the most stoic move you can make is not reacting, it's rising. Subscribe for more wisdom grounded in power. And until next time, stand tall, walk calmly, see clearly.